So you guys know this. We're inching closer and closer to playoff time. 5 races to go now for the Cup Series. And Dale Jarrett, it couldn't be much closer or much crazier, up and down, back and forth all over that cut line.
Yeah, it really is. This is just fascinating. And the names that we see here aren't names that over the last few years that we've really talked about being there on that cut line with Bubba Wallace being there. A nice little jump for him last week to get 26 points up. Michael McDowell, I think this is the big surprise that how well that he and his team have been able to perform, has himself in a really good spot. But I can't be very comfortable sitting in 15th or 16th. When you have the races coming up that we do have 1 or 2 more winners that we haven't seen already would not surprise me. You know, I will say this, that a big surprise as A.J. Allmendinger has worked himself into a position to points his way into the playoffs, decided to go to Road America and run the Xfinity car whenever it's a racetrack that he struggles at. And I've read his comments. It's just rather curious to me that they've done this. So I guess they're going to utilize AJ's road course skills, which he has many, to just try to get victories and expect him to go win Indy or Watkins Glen coming up. But they've done a really good job, and it's not a far-fetched idea that he could go to one of those places and win to get himself in. But a great battle, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if more laps at Road America is going to make a difference on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, DJ, but that seems to be the play here for Colleague Racing and A.J. Allmendinger. I know a lot of people are going to be looking clearly at Daniel Suarez, Ty Gibbs, A.J. Allmendinger being right below the cut line. I'm also looking at Michael McDowell and Bubba Wallace being right above, but I feel like any of those 3 guys, Allmendinger at the tracks you just mentioned, those road courses, he could win a race. I think Suarez obviously is good at road courses. Trackhouse has run well at Michigan before. And then when I look at Ty Gibbs, I mean, that seems to be a rookie driver who is on the cusp of maybe breaking through. So as much as we might be looking at the guys right above the cut line, I think the 3 guys right below the cut line all could win a race here in the next 4 races.
That's right. Just remember, all the drivers that are in white with just very few points above the cut line, they can get pushed out by a new winner, so you've got to keep an eye on them. Looking at the tracks going forward, Nate, here's the 5-race schedule to the cutoff race at Daytona. Richmond this weekend, the Michigan Speedway, then the Indy Road Course, then Watkins Glen. So the 2 road courses in a row, and then the cutoff race at Daytona, the scheduler's dream from a couple of years ago. It continues. When you look at that schedule, let's go back to the drivers above and below. Who is in better shape?
Well, DJ mentioned it, Dave. I think it lays out really well for Michael McDowell if he can get through Richmond. And then Michigan might be the last Achilles heel for Front Row Motorsports. But this team has just punched above its weight all season and shown that even at the big speedways where horsepower and aerodynamics matter so much versus the powerhouses, they've shown they can get top 15s and top 20s. So I think if Michael McDowell gets out of Richmond with a smooth finish, say even just a top 20, he goes to Michigan, runs that well. You look at what's left after that. I mean, those are tracks where Michael McDowell can really control his own fate at places like Indianapolis and Watkins Glen and Daytona, where obviously he's a former Daytona 500 winner. So he'd be the driver I'm looking at that maybe the schedule suits the best.
Yeah, you've hit it spot on there, Nate. I agree with that. And I think this weekend at Richmond is a huge weekend for Bubba Wallace and his team. This has not been a track to where the results would tell you that it's one of his best and favorite tracks. So we talked earlier, we've talked about the Toyotas being really good at Richmond. Can he take his Toyota and do a good job this weekend? I think this is a huge weekend. You go to Michigan, he has to capitalize there because he's going to have a fast car, and I think the Toyotas will be very good then. And so then he gets into a couple of races at Indy Road Course and Watkins Glen that might be more difficult. So these next 2 weeks are hugely important for Bubba to do that. We know that the way he runs at Daytona, he could go there in a must-win situation and find himself right in the mix. But you don't want to really put yourself in that. This is just so fascinating. And, since we talked about the others there on the outside looking in, I'll drop down to Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott, who now have put themselves in basically a must-win situation because there's just too many to jump over. But I don't know that I've seen the speed and everything that's needed to go win one of these races from either one of these drivers since they've both come back from injuries. So Chase Elliott is a driver and has a team that is capable of winning anywhere. Alex Bowman has proven he can win at Richmond and actually was having a really good day at Pocono until he lost control of his car there late in the race. So I think these are two drivers that you have to watch to potentially upset that bubble that we're talking about now. It could move a lot.
And the drive to the playoffs, it all starts this weekend at Richmond.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.